Breaking news. This just in. Viren top 8 regional.
Ow.
Yeah. I played pure tier.
Yeah, I played pure tier.
Alright, fucking, what's up with it?
Alright, so we got 3 Rhino, 3 Sheeran, 3 Havness, 3 Kit. Meryl, 60 card deck. 40 card deck.
Having this dick? Yeah, you ever think about having this dick in your mouth?
Kinda. Full 40 card deck. You want to see them as much as possible. You want to sack your mills as much as you can. Anything less is incorrect right now, in my opinion. Then we went 3 King of the Swamps. You need to play 3. You can't play 2. This card, yeah, you go neutral, but you also get a name engrave. It's an aqua, and also it helps you go into Millennium Eyes easier. I'd also use Guardian Chimera Access, which I think is pretty busted. You summon that card, you pretty much win. The only other thing we're playing is 2 Ghost Spell, because right now, the only hand traps that do enough on their own are Gamma, Cherries, and Nib. And Talents is kind of big right now, so I wanted something that would be good on the offense and defense. This card insulates your plays. Also, you can prevent your opponent's Toad from coming back with it. So I thought it was pretty good. This whole entire day, I was playing around Talents as much as I possibly could. Mainly just use this on my turn. Even the Havness, Talents is a very scary card right now. I only use this on my turn unless I had my hand was good enough to where they could Talents me and I was still able to crack their board. But Talents is very scary right now. The Bell was pretty good. I didn't want more than 2 because then you brick on them and you open double, and I only saw this in 1s, which was very good. That was all the monsters. 3 field spell. You need 3. Konami needs to stop printing busted field spells. This card is actually ridiculous. It does everything in the deck. It helps you extend too if you just summon Kaleido, heart pop it, and keep going off. Actually ridiculous. Terraforming to search it, and then Mystic Mine. This card was honestly today never used the way it's supposed to be used. I would summon a Rhino Heart, they would interrupt it, I would mine myself, and then OCK on the crackback when I just got on the field spell. So it was really busted. Every time I used it, I won, but it was still very rare. But pretty good card at 1. Then the board breakers, we got 3 Dark Ruler No More, staple this format, and then 3 Super Polys. One thing I really missed was I wasn't playing the Mud Dragon. I was playing the Garura, which came up a lot. It's just Mud Dragon I really did miss because I could have Super Polyed away an IP Masquerena a couple times, and I definitely should have been playing that. But other than that, this card was a free Draco Stapelia against tier, and then it was also pretty good to just make Garura. Garura is pretty busted, should get this card banned. But then we got the 2 ups. 2 Talents. I don't have a 3rd, but I do like it as a 2. I do like it as a 2 of anyway. You don't see multiples.
He knows about the 2 of.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Every time I activated, if your hand sucks, you draw 2. If you're able to push for game, you steal. So that was pretty much it. Is there a 3rd effect on it?
Yeah, it's Pot of Greed, bro.
Oh yeah, that's if your hand sucks, but then you draw 2, then you steal. So yeah, it was really good. This is Pot of Greed. You don't play any 1-ofs that contribute to your combo too much, so it doesn't matter. You can banish whatever you want. It's never conflicted with anything in the deck. You're playing 3-ofs of everything. There's a couple power 1-ofs, but it doesn't matter if you banish them or not. This card just said +1, and it was pretty busted. Never drew into the second one off of it, so I just got lucky. Then we got some 1-ofs. We got a Poly and a Fusion sub. This card outs mine, and it's searchable off King of the Swamps. Usually you want to add it right away just in case your opponent's main decking it. This card gives you Guardian Chimera access. Every time I summoned that card, I won. It was ridiculous. This card, it came up 1 time, and my opponent read everything. He read the Fusion sub, he read the field spell, and
was it the Drytron player?
No, it was the Striker player. My only 2 rogue matchups were Drytron and Striker, and surprisingly, my hardest matchups. I ended up winning both of them, but it was just ridiculous. But he read it, was okay, he could definitely pop my mine. He called by the Kit, and I didn't have another main deck out, so I lost that one, but I ended up clapping back games 2 and 3. But this card, I think it's a staple. You need to be running it in order to out the mine. Yeah. Then we got the power 1-ofs. We got Instant Fusion, really should be banned. It's full combo. You never make the Millennium Eyes with it because you can just hard fusion into it. You always want to make the Kit Kalos when you use this. by the Grave also should be banned. Really good card. Every time, like, I don't know, it was just, this card is busted not to play. Foolish Burial, also really good. Usually you already have Tears engraved when you're using this, and it's just a free fusion summon. And then the only flex spot I saw in my deck was, I used to run the Gamma package, but instead I put in the 3 Super Poly in the main rather than the side, and I also put in, I had 1 flex spot, so I put in a Rhoda. It was good seeing Rhino Heart a little more, but this card, like, it really didn't matter. It was just a good searcher. Then for the traps, I played 2 Sulic. I cut the meta noise last minute because it's only good against Sprite. Also, this provides a better grind game. Also, when you end up like doing all of your mills and you mill a meta noise, usually you're never using that effect to recur. So it was nice milling a Sulic, getting a search, and then searching the second Sulic off the Kid Kalos. I didn't miss the meta noise at all. It's 40 card main deck, worked really well. Now we'll go into the extra deck. We got 2 Kit Kalos, 1 Kaleido Heart. You don't need any more because with the Kaleidos, you can just recycle them for themselves or a Draco Stapelia. I mean the kits, and then the Kaleidos. One of my opponents ended up like attacking over this, and then he forgot that Kit can actually revive it, so he didn't do anything about it. Activate Kit effect, it targets itself, bring out Kaleido, and then he just lost instantly. You don't need any more than this because you could recycle these, and then this card, like, it's just, you don't need the second one. Then we got 2 Draco Stapelia. I really like 2. I know a lot of people running 1, but you can like loop them infinitely. If your opponent outs one, you can use, and you mill a tier, that tier and the second Draco turn into like this one. So you just keep looping them, and it's like an infinite negation combo. Yeah. Then we have Millennium Eyes. This card came up like quite often. I would never, I would always make this on my opponent's turn. I was very cautious of talents this format and Super Poly. So my end board would be Dark Ruler proof and Super Poly proof. I would end on Dweller, Kaleido, Heart, Draco Stapelia. You can't Super Poly anything, and even if they Dark Ruler you, the Sulic set that you searched off it. So I never ended on this. Only when I felt safe enough to go into it on my opponent's turn was when I brought it up, and it ended up like, you know, working out very well. Guardian Chimera, every time you summon this, you win. I summoned it, I think, only twice, and I ended up winning both times. It's just, you either pop 2, draw 1, and like pop 1, draw 2. It's ridiculous. Garura, I made this a lot. Super Poly is ridiculous with this card. It hits everything, every single deck in the format. You need to be running this. Xyz, Redoer. I rarely made this turn 1 because when you end Redoer, Draco Stapelia, you get Super Poly'd, so I went for Dweller instead because that's his tier completely. And on Sprite, the Dweller ends up having 2200 attack when used with Rhino Heart. Also, they lose their Toad access, so I thought that was pretty important. I think it was good enough to run. This I would make if we made it past turn 1 to turn 3, then I would go into it. But other than that, I mainly made Dweller, and these both are very good cards. I went to them often. It's just this was mainly turn 1, this was after. Or if my hand was shit, then I would make this, and like I would need the effects for it. So I ran 1 Excaton Knight. This is usually for, dude, it's such a good card, I swear it's good. Just today it didn't come up because I didn't play any trap decks. Or yeah, I didn't play any trap decks, but this card is crazy. You activate it, you win the game against a trap deck, you attack, then you overlay into Zeus. Both these cards didn't come up, but this is like a boss monster you really should be playing. I didn't summon IRDs once, but last regional I summoned them all the time, and it like went very well for me. I wouldn't cut them. This might be cuttable, but this card you still really need. Also, this can trigger your tiers. If you pop your own tier, you get a fusion summon off of it. Dark was really good. Your opponent's running DD Crows or IP, you just steal it and then you link off for it. Pretty standard, easy way to make access code. Sprite Elf, this came up 1 time. I used my opponent's DD Crow with the Dark, went into Elf. I had a Meryl, and it was like a pretty good combo, and then I had access code talker. Sprite has a hard time outing it, even if you like use their IP to make this. It's a 4400 meter that is just difficult for them to out. They just lose anyways. Also, Yeah, that's about it, I guess. But extra deck was perfect. I would add a Mud Dragon. I would probably cut either the Elf or the Eschaton, one of those two. I haven't figured it out yet, but I did like the Eschaton and texting. Now the side deck, we have 2 Lava Golem. I thought it was pretty good at 2. I had enough back row hate, and like this card just like pretty much says that you don't have to deal with your opponent's certain like negations. I liked it a lot at 2. I didn't want to see multiple really, so I ran 2. Also, this whole side deck, I only saw 3 cards the whole tournament. This pretty much didn't even exist, like honestly. But I didn't see Lava Golem once today. Cherries, I saw 1 time, and I was expecting my opponent to make me go second. He made me go first. I ended on a single monster, and then Cherries him, revealed the Elf, and then he pretty much like, he couldn't do anything. And I ended up winning on the crackback. Cherries was really good when I drew it the 1 time I did. Duster, I drew this 1 time against Striker, and I won the game. Really good card. Galaxy Cyclone, didn't see it, but you kind of need it for mine ads. Now we have the red reboot. Didn't see it once, but it's like a staple to beat trap decks. I think it's very important. You should be running it. Prime, this is the only card I saw consistently because you can search it with Kid Kalos. It's the only tutorable card in your side deck. Also, this is how you out evenly in Dark Ruler. You out evenly in Dark Ruler, which is the deck's biggest problem. It just says no searchable counter trap, and you can easily set up for it. So I thought this card is like a permanent like staple in a tier deck. We have triple evenly. Never saw it once. This was meant for Tearlament and back row decks. Didn't draw it once, but in theory it's really good. And then we have the last card, triple Gnome.
It's not like a Noblin.
Yeah.
It's not like enough.
Yeah. So the theory behind this was you can mill it and it could still stop your opponent's Sprite turn, but if they draw a starter, it is what it is. He had the starter, didn't do anything, but I did at least get to see it once, you know. That's the deck profile. I really liked it. The only thing I would change would replace the Gnome for something, but I don't know what yet, and I want to add a Mud Dragon. It's a deck profile. Thank you.